Hi everybody, this is Dr. Paul here, and I am just going to do an introduction to Reiki 2 and teach you about the symbols today. So let's get started. If any of you forgot about me, I'm a naturopathic doctor in Calgary. I have a practice, I focus on autoimmunity, infection, autism, digestive health, detoxification, and cranial work. And I use nutrition, homeopathy, biodynamic osteopathic manipulation, acupuncture, drainage, homeopathy, herbs, and many other energy modalities. So, Reiki was taught by Mikao Usui in a very loose, unstructured format. It was, in fact, Hayashi that came up with a kind of level system, and he had a 6-level system, and Mrs. Takata simplified this into a 3-level system by combining the first 4 levels together, which is why she used 4 attunements in level 1. Generally, only serious students went beyond Reiki 1 with Takata. Reiki 2 was for much more advanced students. Nowadays, this is less the case. Most people go on and do at least a Reiki 3 practitioner level. So I think that's well and good. I think it's a good thing. Reiki 2, the traditional teaching, consists of the 3 symbols, distant healing, which we're going to cover in another visit, and the Reiki II Attunement, which we'll also cover in another video. So the Reiki II Attunement is very similar to the Reiki 1 Attunement. It increases the flow of Reiki quite a bit, so there can be another detoxification process. So just remember that. Drink your water if you're able to drink water, if there's not a medical reason why you should not. It turns on the ability to use the symbols, which generally wasn't intended before. There's a little bit of an affinity to the symbols in Reiki 1 if you've seen them beforehand, but it turns on the ability to use them. And there's an idea that it turns on distant healing as well. Now, I think distant healing is just an inherent ability that all humans have, so I would say it amplifies it a little bit. There are 3 symbols that are taught in Reiki 1, and each has their own particular mantra. Each also has their own particular uses. We'll go into these in a little bit. Many traditions of Reiki do have a prohibition against putting these symbols in print. I don't, personally, and they have been published and freely available for 30 plus years, and they're everywhere on the internet now. If you do have a prohibition against putting the symbol in print, I would ask that you not do so, and just respect others that don't have this prohibition. Follow your tradition, but don't force it on other people. So to draw the symbol, you got to make this gesture with your hand. That's my hand. Draw it out with your whole hand. So you got to draw out the symbol in order to do this, and repeat the name to yourself 3 times. You can do this out loud, or you can do this mentally. This only works after you've had the Reiki II Attunement. So, if you want to, continue with your Reiki training, go and do the attunement video. But yeah, in order to use the symbol, once you've been attuned to it, draw it out, repeat it 3 times, out loud or mentally. As you get good, you can just intend the symbol to be there. And eventually, symbols are often described as training wheels to access certain functions. Eventually, you become able to just access those functions without the symbol. They're kind of like, yeah, exactly, training wheels. So I would keep that in mind. Practice the symbols, learn how to draw them, know them well, but eventually you may kind of leave them behind. Well, I suppose not even leave them behind. After a while, they just become cherished friends. You'll use them and do them in your energetic work, and oh, Sei Hei Kei, my guy. I'm like, oh, Cho Ku Rei, girl. They become just cherished friends that, beings that accompany you on your journey. It's often assumed the symbols were the Sanskrit formula that Usui discovered, and they were shown to him in his vision and activated in his energy fields at Mount Kurama. But they're not actually Sanskrit. Most of them are clearly kanji. The symbols, also from what we know, did not really form a prominent part of Usui's early work and were later added for some of his less gifted students to kind of help them along, to bring them access to energies. So it's likely they were added at a later date, and they were featured as part of his system and give it a little bit of added emphasis after he'd been teaching for a little while. So they're used in general to access their functions, and I myself rarely use them except for attunements. And you can attune them or intend them when you're good or draw them out. So symbol number 1 is the Cho Ku Rei. It's a burst of Reiki power into a given area. Mrs. Takata also usually translated it as put the power here. It also can be used as a blessing for a particular area. There's many variations, like all symbols, and they all work. So kanji, especially Japanese kanji, aren't quite like letters. In addition to conveying sound, they all also often convey meaning. So the kanji for Cho Ku Rei can be translated as direct the spirit. So like direct as in the sense like a traffic direction, like put it the spirit here. Or by decree of the emperor. You can see that Shinto nationalist influence in Reiki coming through that was in that time period. The kanji, and I don't have them here, but they're actually the same symbols, the Daiko Myo, the level 3 symbol, which is really interesting to me. So the Sei Hei Kei is, as we can see right there, and all these illustrations are from Diane Stein's book, Essential Reiki, which she gives permission to use with attribution, so thank you, Diane. The Sei Hei Kei is used predominantly for mental emotional issues, for trauma, for cleansing and purifying habits, and for purification and clearing of particular areas. Also for protection. You can see it's just got 4 strokes to it, the one jaggedy one, a swipe, and then 2 little dots on the edge. The kanji for the Sei Hei Kei can be translated as characteristic, disposition, idiosyncrasy, also mental calmness, unconcerned, and the one I really like is spiritual composure. And this one, oddly enough, did likely originate from a Sanskrit character. You can see it right here. It's from James Deacon's website. He traced it back. As we can see, this is virtually the same symbol. So this is likely where this originated from, being one of the few Sanskrit symbols that originated from this, or that we can trace within Mikao Usui's system. Symbol 3. The Hanshizaishinen is used for distant healing. It's also used to transcend the illusion of space-time, to connect yourself to other beings, other realms, other times. It really reaches quite far outside of our local environments. And it's also used for mindfulness. There are so many versions of this. This is the one I learned and the one I prefer. I quite like it. So this very clearly is kanji, and being so, and we can actually translate it. So the best translation is really correct thought is the essence of being, and all of the versions work. So the symbols can be used in one's day-to-day life to increase Reiki flow, or they can be used just to call upon their various functions. They can be used in distant healing, which we'll get into in the distant healing videos, and they can be used to intensify hands-on Reiki treatments. Images of the symptoms are in the Unit 2 files, so you don't have to go through the video in order to see them. And yeah, I hope you really get to know these symbols. They are living beings. Perhaps not in the same way that biological humans are, but in the sense of consciousness, in the sense of energies that you can get to know and become friends with. They are very good friends. If you've got anything you want to discuss with me, you can give me a message. You can give me an email at drpaulterio.nd@gmail.com, and you can you can check out my website at drpaulterio.com. I would love you guys to go and do my next video, which will be on distant healing, and to do my the Reiki II Attunement video, which I will post in the Reiki II unit in our group on Facebook. Take care, you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.